Greetings everyone, Tomas Patterson here from Boss Financial. Thanks for tuning in to another video before you go enjoy your weekend, hopefully. Today just a quick little introduction to something you might have heard floating around the past year, the past 2 years, but often there's a lot of questions when it comes to this topic, okay? And a lot of misleading answers. And the topic that I'm talking about is cryptocurrency, but more importantly, Bitcoin. So today we're gonna get into what exactly cryptocurrency is, okay? How Bitcoin plays into the mix, why it's talked about so much, what the value that there actually is that it offers purchasers and investors, okay? And as well, we're going to talk about other cryptocurrencies that are currently mainstream today. I'll speak pretty objectively, but at the end I'll wrap it up and I'll tell you personally what I think about it and how I feel. So all I ask YouTube fan is if you enjoy this video, if you learned something, just do me a favor and smash that like button, give your boy a thumbs up, and also destroy that subscribe button, okay? If you appreciate my content, if you want to stay updated with me and follow me on my YouTube journey, help me grow my channel, I appreciate it. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. For starters, Bitcoin falls under what we call cryptocurrency, okay? Now, cryptocurrency, that's an electronic form of, currency, okay, that works off the concept of blockchain technology. Now, I'm not going to get into any crazy technical stuff or specifics here, but basically what blockchain technology is it's a public log of every transaction made with a specific cryptocurrency, and this can't be altered and it's made viewable to the public. Although this log is public, Bitcoin users, cryptocurrency users generally, you're gonna benefit from being anonymous, okay? Because each transaction is tied back to your cryptocurrency wallet address, but this wallet address isn't tied back to anything like your personal name, your home address, nothing like that can identify you. Cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin, is a finite resource, okay? That means that there's a limited amount and only so much that could ever go into circulation. It was created sort of like a virtual gold, where it gets more scarce as time goes on and more of it's mined. Now, when we say mined, I don't mean that we're going out there, we're getting sweaty and pickaxing things, okay? Because like we said, this is an electronic or a virtual currency. Instead, Bitcoin is mined by computers using their processing power to solve complex mathematical equations, okay? And when these equations are solved, then the miner is rewarded with Bitcoin in a small amount. The total amount of Bitcoin that could ever be in circulation is 21 million flat. It's a fixed amount, but to date, there's about 17.5 million that have already been mined. So, okay, say you manage to get your hands on some Bitcoin. What exactly can you do with it? Why is it important? Well, the primary reason that there's so much hype surrounding things like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is because it's essentially money, okay, cash, that has no tie to things like banks or other financial intermediaries. It's a peer-to-peer network with no central authority, meaning that anyone can get involved, be a part of this because it's an open source, it's a public design. The main perks are fast peer-to-peer transactions, as well as you get anonymity, and you get worldwide payments, as well as low processing fees. You can transfer money around the world in just minutes, okay? And there's very, very low fees compared to relative things like if you were to do a wire or bank international transfers. And the best part is that anyone can make a wallet and you don't even need a bank account. It's essentially one of the safest ways to pay for something over the internet, as it's completely anonymous and you don't have to worry about entering in your credit card, stuff like that. To start, you'll want to make a wallet with a Bitcoin address. This address is pretty much, it's just a long series of numbers and letters. It's unique to you and nothing could be compromised with this. So say even if a hacker got a hold of this address, the only thing they're able to do is send you money. So you can get a cryptocurrency wallet at a place called an exchange, okay, or a cryptocurrency exchange. The most popular one out there right now is probably Coinbase. If not, it's one of the most popular. And you can buy Bitcoin, you can sell Bitcoin, you can even get other currencies, okay, so like litecoin or ethereum. I'll leave a link in the description below for Coinbase if you want to go with them. You can even get some free money with that link, but other popular ones are Binance. I've heard of that one, it's pretty popular, as well as a Canadian one I used to use, which is called Quadriga Coin Exchange. So how it works is you trade in some of your local currency, okay, so say the Canadian dollar, the US dollar, and you get a proportionate amount of whatever cryptocurrency you're getting back in return. And this could be fractional. So unlike the stock market where you can only buy 1 shares, 10 shares, just you can't get fractional, with cryptocurrency you can get fractional amounts. So you don't have to spend a whole say $10,000 to get a Bitcoin, you could just put in $100, $10, whatever you want. You can then send money to people by getting their address, and you can also receive money by giving out your address, and you can pay for things online in the same fashion. So what are the other currencies I mentioned there? So Bitcoin is often regarded to as like the gold of the cryptocurrency, okay? But then Litecoin and Ethereum, they're often viewed as the silver and the bronze. Litecoin operates like Bitcoin, except two key differences, okay? The first one is that you get faster processing times, and the second is that you have cheaper fees opposed to Bitcoin. So that's why I personally like it. It's a more feasible means for a transaction. And Ethereum, that's a currency that's used for developers, okay, to write decentralized applications and codes, things for like smart contracts for businesses. It's a little more complicated, and I don't want to really get into that. But then you have all the other things that we like to call altcoins, okay? Mind you, Litecoin and Ethereum, they're still technically altcoins because Bitcoin, that's like the granddaddy of the cryptocurrency world. So you also got things like Dash, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, you got Tron. There's even a popular one out there called Tether, and apparently this is based on the US dollar, okay? So if you want a little more stability, something with an actual intrinsic value, then that could be an option for you. And there's also something called Dogecoin. So I've heard recently, I've read that Doge actually, if you don't know him, he's the Shiba Inu, that famous dog, kind of orange color from a lot of memes. I read that he passed away, but I did look into this, guys, okay? Good news. It turned out that this is just a hoax. It pops up regularly. So Doge, he's actually alive and well, okay? You can check him out here. Here's his Instagram. Once again, Doge, the famous Shiba Inu dog, is alive and well. So yeah, in short, if you're a crypto enthusiast, you really got to do your research to make sure you're buying things that aren't novelty, or maybe you want to buy the novelty ones, compared to things that are more legitimate and have a purpose, and then things that are going to benefit you and maybe have an actual impact on the crypto environment. So now we're coming over to Bitcoin bulls, okay? So what's the hype? So a good portion of people who support Bitcoin, they believe in the decentralized aspect of it, okay? So they have a doubt in the long-term viability of a fiat currency, and even more, they might not trust the government. Bitcoin and other currencies, in a way, give control back to the people, okay, and kind of take it out of the government's hands. This paired with fast transaction speed, low processing fees, as well as the potential for your money to increase in value over time. Now, that's a huge pull for a lot of people. Believers of a new financial system, a global currency, and a drastic disruption, basically, of the global economy and the infrastructure of the financial markets out there today, these are going to be this big supporters of Bitcoin. This, as well as the younger audience, who typically, they're more tech savvy, and they have a more open mind per se when it comes to things like disruptive change, and they're typically going to have an easier time breaking away from these traditional systems. Now, big money, aka Wall Street institutions, they knocked it for so long, but lo and behold, they jumped in the market too. So now you can invest in cryptocurrency through methods like the stock market, institution, funds like that, whether you're buying or shorting. Now, over to the bears, or the concerns. The problem with Bitcoin is that the price isn't tied to anything tangible, really. It's hard to consider switching to a global currency when the price of that can increase or drop dramatically at any point. It's this volatility in the market that makes the bears wary, because you would need a lot more people adopting this currency to make it as stable as something like the Canadian dollar or the US dollar. For example, imagine you purchase $100 in Bitcoin, and this could be used to buy, let's say, a bunch of groceries. Say the next day there's a huge panic, a market sell-off, and like a bad stock, the price plummets. Now you have no money and you're going to starve. So clearly it's not a very stable currency to value things at, but websites like overstock.com and Microsoft.com, they accept payments in Bitcoin, but they just constantly update it so that the amount you pay is reflected at the current price of the cryptocurrency. Right now, Bitcoin's about $10,000 US, which comes to about $13,500 Canadian, and this changes every minute. Bitcoin's also been a headliner for many discussions involving illegal activity, okay? So, for example, you had the Silk Road. This was a black market website that opened up on the dark web and allowed you to pay Bitcoin for illegal things, anything from drugs to weapons. And they even had very crafty ways to deliver these things right to your door. This website was launched in 2011, but then it ended up being shut down by the FBI in like October 2013. When it was all said and done, they raked in over $1 billion from just illegal money there. So obviously that's not a good thing. And then actually Silk Road 2 opened up shortly after, and that got shut down as well. There are also people out there that argue whether Bitcoin is worth it or not based off of things like the high energy costs used to mine Bitcoin, as well as even thefts from exchanges, okay? So that's why it's important that if you're getting Bitcoin, you get yourself a separate wallet address separate from the exchanges in case they were to be breached. You can even have a cold wallet, okay, which is one that's not online. It's either you can do a piece of paper and actually physically write your address or your password on there and lock it away, hope it doesn't get lost in the future, or even little cold wallets that are like on a little flash drive, okay, that encrypt it and keep it safe for you. And finally, there's also the problem of lost or unclaimed Bitcoin. So this might not sound like a big deal, but it's somewhere like 15 to 25% of all the Bitcoin ever mined is out there unclaimed or it's lost, okay? It's just floating out there in the ether. So this makes it impossible to use, and essentially it's just going to sit there for the rest of their existence. So when it comes to cryptocurrency Bitcoin, what do I think? Me personally, I think that even if it takes a little time, even a long time, I think that probably the price is still going to continue to increase over time, because simply there's always going to be people out there that have uses for it. Even though there's always going to be people out there that are against cryptocurrency, they might think it's something like a fad. These are more your traditional people that do stock market investing, or they go through the banks. On the other side of that, I think there's always going to be people that are pro cryptocurrency, okay? These are the people that really believe in it, and they're hodl, okay? They're hold on for dear life. And especially as over time the mining rates decrease, and this plays into the scarcity factor too. There are people out there that see the value of crypto, even if it's subjective to them, especially when it comes to things like how relatively inexpensive it is to transfer money, even internationally, okay? Now, people who are really good believers, really firm believers in Bitcoin, these are generally going to have the mentality of the buy and hold, okay? So basically the same attitude you want to have in the stock market if you're long term. However, I do want to mention it's extremely important that you don't over allocate your funds into things like Bitcoin, Litecoin, any crypto, okay? As it's completely possible, I'm sure you've heard success stories of people cashing in on Bitcoin. That's because they bought way back, in triple digits, even double digits, and held. This resulted in early adopters making a lot of money, like a killing. Seriously, some people netted millions and millions of dollars when they sold, but this is no guarantee of the future and the returns that are going to come in the future. Although there's always the possibility of the next crypto boom again, in fact, maybe more now than ever before, I think there's a good probability of this, maybe the next 5 years, maybe the next 10 years, maybe not at all, maybe sooner. But see, this is where we get into something called speculation. Speculation is very, very risky in terms of investing, okay? And I can tell you objectively that this has been a major fuel for the cryptocurrency bull run. Also, keep in mind, a lot of the gains we've had in the past have been artificial, okay? So basically, institutions, even people, they've been known to manipulate the market, meaning they have a lot of money and they make large transactions, which then in turn, it sways the market either way. This, as well as the fact of, even if you think you fall in this category or not, okay? When it comes to cryptocurrencies, one of the biggest factors driving this is FOMO, okay? And that's fear of missing out. Think about it really. If you've invested, or if you're thinking about jumping into the cryptocurrency market, even dipping a toe in, okay? Ask yourself, be honest with yourself, and ask yourself these questions. Ask yourself things like, why are you investing? What are you looking for? Do you actually believe in this cryptocurrency, the infrastructure, its purpose, and the potential for it to impact the world? Or are you kind of using this as an excuse to get in while you can and potentially cash out in the future with a large reward? If your answer to this is you're investing because everyone else is, you don't want to miss the boat, or maybe you're trying to turn $50 into $5,000, then I'm sorry to tell you, but you can't even really call this investing. This is speculation, because all you're doing is you're just hoping, you're banking on that people are going to continue to keep buying and buying, which is going to in turn drive the price up. But this sort of behavior, okay, that's what causes bubbles to form. And when bubbles form, there comes a day when they get too big and they burst. We've had 3 major bubbles in the 2000s recently. The first one was the famous dot-com bubble, the tech bubble. That started about 1995 and then burst in 2001. We also had the housing market bubble, okay? This is where real estate was getting out of control, okay? People were getting lent pretty much anything they wanted. You heard stories of people getting their 3rd house, their 4th house. And this was partially directly related to the bursting of the dot-com bubble, okay? Because as these stocks in the tech industry started to fall, and people were pulling their money out and they were putting it all into real estate. At this time, interest rates, they were at record lows, okay? So the demand for housing skyrocketed. It was something like over 50% of people who bought homes during this time were people who wouldn't have even qualified for these homes under ordinary circumstances. So it was all this lending to crappy people, if you want, that caused the bubble to burst, and this resulted in the 2007-2008 financial crisis. So the third bubble in recent history, more directly related to what we're talking about in this video today, okay, that was the cryptocurrency bubble, or the Bitcoin crash. This comes back to when all the hype was coming out, all the news was coming about Bitcoin, altcoins, okay, and it hit its peak in about December 2017. So Bitcoin went from this all-time high in December, okay, it was at something like $20,000 US, and then by the next 2 months in 2018, it dropped by a whopping 65% in January and February, and it fell to about $7,000 US. Although myself, I could say that during the bubble, I was able to dabble a little bit. Okay, I made some good money by getting in and getting out at the right time, the perfect time. Actually, that was in December I got out. I made about $3,000, but that was mostly with Litecoin and Ethereum. I'm just not sure on the long-term outlook for Bitcoin, for cryptocurrency in general, from an investment standpoint. It might not be the most viable option for the uses intended originally, but if it doesn't carry on into the future, I think that Bitcoin, even the blockchain technology itself, has paved the way for some truly world-changing systems. Even now, just today, okay, I read that Facebook, they're now introducing their own cryptocurrency called Libra. Apparently, this is supposed to change the game, as Facebook has relationships with billions of people around the world, and that's a good place to start. I guess down the road, they even plan on making it as simple to pay your rent, to buy a coffee, as it is with normal currency, okay? And they're even getting massive investments from companies like MasterCard, Visa, and PayPal. So that'll just kind of be interesting to see how that plays out. I sold all my cryptocurrency actually in the peak moment there in December 2017, but I actually bought 2 more Litecoin, and I bought those at $45 Canadian, and they're already at $185, so I already got some more profits going there. But like I said, this isn't me over allocating funds, okay? I hold most of my money in a high interest savings account, as well as stock market and some real estate. So this is just money that essentially I'm prepared to lose, okay? It's just a little amount of money compared to my whole portfolio, but hey, I'm doing all right so far. Keep in mind, there's also a halvening coming this August for Litecoin. So what that means is that it's the rate of Litecoin produced when mining is cut in half, okay? So that's going to increase the scarcity. So I'm really interested to see what happens to the price of Litecoin when this happens, and even the time leading up to it. And boom, with that, guys, that's the conclusion of today's video. Just a quick little snapshot of what cryptocurrency is, what Bitcoin is, why it's important, why it may not be important, as well as my personal thoughts on it. Hopefully I was able to give you the information you needed, or help clarify some misconceptions you might have heard. Who knows, maybe this actually inspired you to become a crypto person, test out the market, see what it's like, see how everything works, dip your toes in. And also, like I've said before, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just someone here to give you education and entertainment videos. So I want to give you this information, but I hope that my opinions don't hold me accountable for decisions you're going to make on your financial journey. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, just please do me a favor, hit the like button, okay? Show me some love. Smash the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell if you want to stay in the loop and get notifications every time I drop a video. I try to post about twice a week right now. I've been pretty consistent, and my topics are based on things like personal finance, investing, the stock market, wealth building, coaching, all that good stuff. So thank you, I appreciate it a lot. Any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section down below. I'll be sure to get to that, as well as follow me on Instagram at Boss Financial Channel. Some good content posted there. I just got that account going. So yeah, once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Stay positive and see you next time.